How are you getting on? Did you do the damage, huh? Did you do the damage and now you're trying to... Did you go so hard at Christmas in December that you feel like a half an eaten roll stuffed down between a wall and an electricity box? The saddest sight in Ireland. Did you do that? And now do you feel that? Well, look, we're turning it around right now. And we're turning it around right now with a New Year's freestyle. Honk, 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 honk. The New Year's goose is here to kick us off. Okay, boom, clap, boom, boom, clap, boom, boom. Clap, boom, boom, clap. New Year's resolution. You ain't gonna get there just by drinking a potion. Ain't no magic to getting better, getting fitter. You're getting wetter. You're gonna get wetter when you look at me. You're going to get so wetter when you look at me. Because I'm going to be so buff when you look at me. I'm going to have my big traps and biceps and clapping and clap, clap, clap. Everyone's clapping for me. Everyone's clapping for me because I look so good. They're clapping for me. I'm walking into Cleary's and I'm going to have a few beeries. Actually, no, because I'm doing a sober Jan. I'm doing dry Jan. I'm going to get me a big fucking tan. But I'm going to put the... Anyway. How are you getting on? I'm so lightheaded. New year, new you. But you know what? We're going to be talking about it today. We, collectively. That's right, guys. You will have the opportunity to rejig the wiring on your headphones so that it turns into a microphone and speak back to me. I'm joking, of course. But of course, if you do have any questions or anything like that you would like to talk about, you can always hit me up on the social media at Tony Horror. I would love to hear your questions and comments, and just make sure you highlight them for the podcast. That'd be whatever. Anyway, look, new year, new you. We're talking about it. We're all talking about it. So what we're going to do in this show is we're going to talk about self-improvement. We're going to talk about how you can reach the better you. But we also want to talk about how you can be grateful of the beautiful person you already are. So we're upcoming. We're going to be talking about the body. I'm going to be talking about, give you some gym tips. I'm going to be talking about the mind. I am going to be talking about overcoming that inner voice. And we're going to have some guided mindfulness meditation at the end. It's going to be a beautiful thing. But before we get onto that, guys, this whole new year, new you, right? This isn't just about, I know you feel like a leftover roll stuffed between an electricity box and a wall. But you've been a beautiful person this year. There's things you've done. There's incremental steps in some regard that maybe have been better than the year before. Maybe not. Look, maybe I'm talking to someone who's really let themselves go. Whatever. But you know what I mean. You're not a snake. Okay? You're a butterfly. And what I mean by that is it's not about you shedding your skin, baby. It's about you transforming into a better you. Because caterpillars look like shit. You look like shit. And next year you're going to look good. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm drinking, do you know what? This is something that people are going to spend a lot of money on. Water bottles. I've decided I'm doing the Volvic Challenge. I'm doing the Volvic Challenge. I'm going to be drinking water every day. I've given it a lot of thought, and 2019 I wasn't doing the Volvic Challenge. I was having water whenever I was thirsty. This year I'm doing the Volvic Challenge, and I'm going to be drinking water every day. My parents have been mixed about it. My dad's been very encouraging. My mother naturally has been bloody fucking wrecked the head about it. She's like, no, don't be drinking water. Be drinking, beers or whatever. Yeah. Whatever. But I tell you what, the real winner of the year is Chili's, huh? Did you get your Chili's bottle? Did you get your knockoff Chili's bottle from Dunn's? Because that's what I'm drinking from. Because I can't be trusted with an expensive water bottle. Chicane? Chicane? What was the Chicane song? What was that Chicane song? Was it Stoned in Love with Tom Jones? It's Chicane. He's a musician. Did he do Stoned in Love? Yeah, he did. Fucking banger. Chicane featuring Tom Jones. When I'm feeling stoned in love, it's how I feel alive. If you haven't listened to Tom Jones's return to form, even though he's still knocking about, I don't do many impressions, but I do a Tom Jones. Here's one, right? Well, when I haven't done Welsh in a while. Tom Jones, well, when Chicane came to me and he said, well, I got to get lower, When Chicane said him to say, whatever, shut up, I can't do it. I can't do it. When I'm feeling stoned in love, it's how I feel alive. This is your first podcast. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, John. I'm so sorry if this is your first podcast. But look, that seems like as good an intro as ever for this new year. New You Hunty edition of Tony Cantwell's Shit Show. Here we go. It's Tony Cantwell's Shit Show. And I know that the show is Tony Cantwell's Shit Show. And I know, yeah. Now, as I said, I'm drinking from my Chili's knockoff bottle, Chicane, because I can't be trusted. I bought a few of my Dream Gun buddies had these water bottles that had a little teats on them. You pop up the little teat, and you can. It's durable enough teat. It's basically a rubber straw. I call it the teat, and it was my favourite way to drink. I want to put tits on. I'm putting tits on everything. 2020, I'm putting tits on everything. I'm putting tits on my glasses. My drinking glasses and my eyeglasses. I'm not going to be able to see out because of the nipples. But anyway, I lost my... And this is the thing. Do you know that fucking shop? What's it called? Crate? Is that what it's called? The one, Stephen's Green? I went into the shop, right? And I did that thing where I was like... confident I was going to get it, and just picked it up, brought it to the till, and she was like, okay, that's great, €40, please. Oh, that's, that bit of plastic? That's 40, that's €40, please. And I was like, yeah, that's great, yep, fine. That's the sort of person I am. I'm happy to spend €40 on the thing. And then I left it in Fumbly Lane, and then I messaged them and said, hey, I left my bottle in Fumbly Lane, and they wrote back in an email 3 days later, bunch of fucking hippies. I'm not having to go. But they wrote back 3 days later, and they said, oh, no. I'm like, well, you fucking did. There's a tit bottle in there, and Daddy needs his milk. And I'm having to buy counterfeit Chili's bottles from gun stores like a fucking idiot. The state of me. People are like, is that Chili's? I've had to etch a little chili pepper. Other water bottles are available. Anyway, I've had to etch a little chili pepper onto the side of it with my compass. Just so people can respect me. Just so my wife can look me in the eyes. But I know it's not. For one, I dropped it once and it's dented. Or if I imagine the real Chili's. And then, I'm in a studio with a bunch of very cool designers, right? And they all have clean canteens. So if you're with a Chili's, yeah, guess what? Next level is clean canteen. That's the next. I've been talking for 10 minutes about water bottles. There you are. Anyway. Try to put that on the table without making a noise. Anyway. New year, new you, Hunty. But listen, it's not about you. It's not about you completely shedding who you are. But you need to maybe change some things. Here's a simple thing, right? Think about this. What, if changed in your life, would have the greatest positive impact? What part of your life, if changed, resolved, would have the greatest positive impact on your life, on your happiness? Is it that job? Here's a little tip for you. A lot of people are going to be going out looking for new jobs, and they find the perfect job and interviews. Oh my God, are you messing? Are you messing? Interviews are the worst. Interviews, all you want to be like is, look, listen, man, I'm sound, right? You know, I'm just an average guy, but I'm great crack. I just want to get that across now. You know, after this 15 minutes or half an hour, you're never going to hear me use the word good team leader ever again. What are my hobbies? I really want to let you know. I want to go into detail about it. But this CV that I have to just put down and summarize says going to the cinema with friends because I'm a basic B. I'm sorry. But anyway, here's a little interview tip for you, yeah? When you're going in, this is from a guy who has been fired from a lot of jobs and is self-employed. So here's a little interview tip for you. Go into the room, right? Because you can be nervous, right? Go into the room and act like, mindfuck, here you go. It's your room. That's genuinely a tip I read. Go into the room and act like you're the one who is kind of welcoming them into your space. Now, I kind of get it, right? Because it's kind of about, you know, you're kind of like respecting the fact you're in your space. You don't go in there and say, hey, get the fuck out of my room. What are you doing? Or like you go in there first and they come in. You're like, did I say you could come in? There's a sign on the door, asswad. It says don't come in. And they're like, wow, this guy's fucking unreal. Or woman. Or fluidy boy. Gen B. Gen flu. Swine flu. Whatever. I shouldn't have said swine flu. Listen, come here to me. You go into the room and you just act like it's your room. You go out there, you take your fucking lad out or your boobs out. What am I talking about? You go into that room, you go into Deloitte and you take your lad out and you say, this is my room, ass what? You know, this podcast was up there with Blind Boys a few weeks ago. Oh, God. Anyway, so you just go in there and act like it's, you know, on a serious level. You kind of just go in and be like, I'm comfortable here. And you're kind of like almost trying to comfort them because it's nervous. It's kind of a nervous thing for everyone, you know? It's kind of a nervous thing for everyone. So you're kind of like, you know, just making sure that you kind of feel at home. And the quickest way to feel at home is act like it's your home. Not by taking your boobs out. Anyway, what am I talking about? But look, that's maybe something you want to change. Maybe you want to change a relationship. Look, I'm not going to be someone to police you in what to do here, but look, if you're in a relationship that every anniversary you're kind of like, well, we give this another year, you know, maybe don't. Maybe don't. Or maybe do. But, you know, I will say this. You cannot be the source of someone else's happiness. You know, that has to come from within. I don't want to go down this route because it's not particularly funny, but you know what I mean. You know. There's people who habitually you've been there for them and you're going to be there for them. And are you given enough time for you? Do you know what I mean? Are you given enough time for you? Right. Look, whatever. I'm not guru daddy, right? I'm not guru daddy. I'm not telling you what to do here, right? But okay, look, this is, if just, so how about this? New year, new you. You looking after your bod? Huh? Oh God, I've had a latte and I don't think I'm I was gonna say lactose intolerant. I was gonna say I don't think I'm gender intolerant. I don't think I'm lactose intolerant, but I tell you, it gives me a coating. It gives my interior a coating. It is an alkali. Cheese is an alkali, and I'm not going to alkali. It's bloody delicious. I'm not going to alkali about this, but the milk's good, ma'am. Unlistenable, the Tony Cantwell podcast. But look, you're looking after your body. Are you going to join the gym? Huh? Are you going to join the gym? Let me tell you something about diets, right? I'm going to go to diets first. I've done a lot of fad diets in my time. My wife still won't let me do the Atkins. Bacon and cheese? Are you joking? Every meal? And I fucking would. My diet used to be whatever had the big yellow sticker on it in Tesco. That means reduced. One day I had 100 cocktail sausages for dinner. Another day I had 8 frozen chicken fillets, battered, and whatever was there. If it was 2 pizzas, gingerly sellotaped together with a sticker on it, that was the dinner. I used to eat very, very bad. So I'm prone to it. I've talked about this before. I'm very prone to the stodge. I am prone to the feeling that I am sad. I am prone to the feeling of eating so much that I don't want to move, which is why, I'd be very prone to, give me that spice box. Give me that spice box. Give me the stodge. But anyway, I don't know what I'm talking about this. There was no, whatever. But yeah, and me and my wife, we did the 5-2 diet, but that was when you had 5 days eating regular amount of calories, whatever it is, 2,000 for a man, much less for a weak woman. Because women can't handle the amount of calories, apparently. That's why there's a difference. Men can handle more calories, and women have a smaller amount of calories because they are, if you believe that sort of thing. I'm joking, of course. Tony cancelled says, Tony cancelled. Women can't handle calories, says shamed comedian. What was I talking about? Yeah, the 5-2 diet. Basically, you eat the standard amount of calories for your gender, and then for 2 days you only have 500 calories. So we were eating a lot of courgettes, shall we just say? A lot of courgettes and a lot of tomatoes. And I tell you, the weight fell off me. I think I lost a stone. I think I lost a stone in a month. So that's a good one. But this is the thing. Apparently, whoever you dream in your head, you could be losing weight, you could be looking good, but if you're still dreaming, chubsy in your head, if you're looking at yourself and you're like, that's Tony Cantwell, the chubster. That sounds like I'm endearing him, but whatever, That's Chubby Checker there. If you're still dreaming as that. So you have to, it's really how you change your own visual image, your own visualization image in your head. That's the thing that changes, and that's the thing that keeps whatever diet or fad or apparently off. Apparently. See, this is one of my New Year's resolutions. I read a lot of self-help books, and I spout a lot of shite. I'm about to give you tips for the gym. I've been 7 times, right? I've been about 7 times. Let me tell you this, actually. Some fella... Wait, I'll get onto that in a second. Another fad diet I did vegan for a month, right? I did veganuary, which sounds so sexy. Veganuary. I did veganuary, and I've never had more energy. Now, I don't know if I believe, that documentary that came out, whatever it is. It was a documentary about fitness and veganism. And apparently there was some things you have to take with a pinch of salt. I don't know if I can do a fucking battle ropes workout for 45 minutes or whatever it is, or an hour, just by changing to a vegan diet. But I tell you, I did have more energy than I've ever had. And let me tell you this. My libido was through the roof. I was a very horny guy. Very horny guy, this guy. Very horny. I had all the legs removed from my table because I didn't need them anymore. I was so horny. Do you know what I mean? That's such a stupid joke. That's such a stupid joke. I meant to be going to Edinburgh next year. Anyway, here's my little gym tips for you. And I tell you, if you want to get a boner, cut out the meat. Which is ironic. Because you think you're eating bones, things with bones. And also, sorry, I know there's women and people who don't sound gender listening to this. You know, whatever. But the wife had it as well. The wife was hornier as well. Me and my wife were hornier being vegan, is what I'm saying. That's all you need to know about that. But it's just funny that you eat bone and you can't, and you lose the bone. I've never tried the old Viagra, but whatever. What was I talking about? Veganuary. Anyway, gym tips, right? This coming from a guy who has been to the gym 7 times. Well, no, come on. I'm being. I'm hitting the gym. That's right, you little clam. I'm going to get so buff, so tough. You're going to want to take it. No, you won't. I'm going to be consensual. I'm a sensual lover. I'll never make anyone do anything that they don't want to do because I don't want you. I don't want you. That's why this is not about consent because I don't want you. Anyway, my gym, my gym tips are. I don't have any fucking gym tips, but this is the thing. Everyone's like, "What do I do when I go into a gym?" And only because I've had help. A pal of mine, Connor Barry. He's a personal trainer. You can get onto him, Connor Barry. He's a chap who told me he was a fucking lad who said he lives in Dalkey. And he's the one who said about the soft drinks. And I was like, I never heard that before. And that's obviously started a revolution off the back of that. But, it is difficult going in there. So I would say maybe if you can skimp enough, although there's a lot of gyms you can join that already have personal trainers, just let them know what kind of things you want to grow. And then they're going to help you because it's difficult going in there. But the biggest hurdle I find is going in there and worrying about being looked at, right? So I'm going to flip the script and I'm going to tell you this and no more. I shouldn't be doing the voice anymore. That's not a white voice. But I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to flip the script and tell you this. I did it again. And I'm going to flip the script and tell you this, right? What you need to do is they think they're looking at you. You look at them. You look at them. And a great game to play when you're looking at them is to think who these buff things look like. Now, Conor Barry, I remember he used to tell me he used to have nicknames for people in his gym. And he said there was one lad walking around who looked exactly like Pierce Brosnan, but he looked really aggressive. So Conor used to nickname him Fierce Brosnan, right? This chap, Fierce Brosnan. For Queen and Country and swole and getting really jacked. Hey, it's me, Fierce Brosnan. I'm getting really big. Well, maybe you shouldn't be lifting here. That sort of thing. So I've found a few, right? When I was in the gym, I'm not going to tell you which gym. All right, it's FlyFit, but other gyms are available. I'm not spending money on it. I barely go. And get this, right? Get this shit, right? I was chatting to some fella came up, very nice guy, came over to me, said he liked my videos and things like that. Love hearing that. Look, if you ever see me out and about, come over, compliment me. What a life. I love it. Thank you very much. Came over to me and he said, I love, like the videos or whatever. And I was like, oh, thanks very much, and he said to me he's an actor. He said to me he's an actor and I was like, oh, great, I do a bit of acting as well, And he was saying, oh, but man, I hate the whole networking thing and fucking having to schmooze and all that stuff. And after, literally, I just heard, like the day before, Bill Burr give advice to other comedians, and he said that when he was growing, he was coming up in stand-up or whatever, he was saying the exact same thing to a comedian. He was like, oh man, I hate this fucking networking thing. And this older comedian said to him, well, you better fucking get good at it, or you better learn to love it, because you got to do it. This is why it is. You got to do it. So I just heard that, and I had a couple of pints in me. So he told me this. He was like, oh man, I want to be an actor, but I hate networking. And I was like, well, you got to do it, man. You got to do it. You got to do it. You got to be in the first, you got to be the first couple of people they think of for that role. You need to be relevant. You need to be networking. You need to be schmoozing. Whether you like it or not. And he was quiet for a little bit, and then he was sulking. Right? He clearly didn't want to hear this. Right? He was Macaulay sulking. This guy. And he was like, and I was saying this, like, you just got to do it, man. Like, I'm sorry, you no way to put it. You got no way to put it. You know what I mean? You got to do it. And then he said, yeah, well, I saw you in Flyfit there last week struggling on the 10s. And then he walked away. The fucking cheek. And whatever. Maybe I was struggling. But you know what? Every journey to being jacked is one lift away. And you can get that embroidered on a little pillow for you. That's what you can get. But so that's the thing. You go into the gym, right? And don't worry about them looking at you. You look at them and think what they look like. So Connor had Fierce Brosnan. I'd love to hear yours from yours. So get in touch with me at Tony Horror on all the social, right? Get in touch with me, and I'll feature them on this. But here's another few that I saw. One guy was a chap who looked like Eckhart Tolle, right? The kind of new world, guru, Oprah's best mate. And he was really jacked. So I thought I came up with a nickname, Eckhart Swole. Well, when you're picking up the weights, you have to imagine that you don't exist, and the ego is telling you you can't, and then you pick them up, and then you're fucking jacked. Another one. He didn't look exactly like him, but he was as handsome as Brad Pitt, and I came up with Broad Pitt. So if you have anyone who looks like anyone in the gym, come up with a funny fitness buff related nickname, and you could win a prize. And that prize is me reading your shit. So that's my excuse me. So that's my gym tips. And now what I'm going to do, because I know a lot of people listen to this podcast in the gym, right? So this is going to be a podcast. I'm going to have a little thing where this is going to be 2 or 3 minutes or whatever of me being your personal trainer. I'm not going to tell you what to do, because you could be running, you could be lifting, you could be doing anything, but it's just going to be encouragement. So here we go. I am your personal trainer in 3, 2, 1. Hey, how's it going? I'm David, your PT. You know what PT stands for? Let me tell you what it doesn't stand for. Pussy trainer. I'm going to go at you and go at you hard. And I want that similar respect coming over to me. I want you to respect me. I want you to love me. Do you know what else PT doesn't stand for? Puppy tiddler. Because I'm not a little baby. I'm a big man. And you're doing great. Your form is looking good. The male form is a beautiful thing. And the female form is nice as well. I'm so proud of you prioritizing your happiness and coming here to David's lair, David's dungeon. I'm so proud of you coming in here. You look great. Okay, that's it. That's the form I want to see. Okay, we're going to push it. Let's go to town. Let's get the bus into town and do our shopping. Yes, let's go into those sales. We're going to town. We might get a donut. No, you're not having any donuts. No, I haven't any donuts. You're doing great. I'm so proud of you. I love you. I hope you love me. Yes. Okay, here we go. Rep number 9. We're repping now. Okay. Lift it. If it's your arms, lift your arms. If it's weights, lift the weights. If it's legs, lift them up to your chest. We're going hard. Okay. We can cool down now for 2 seconds, because we're going to ramp it up. This is when you have to lift it harder. Quick! A new horizon. You're doing so well. I'm so proud of you prioritizing your fitness and health. I've never felt this way before. I love you. Great. That was good. I'll see you back next week for round number 2. Oh, there you are now. If you'd like to hear more from David, the PT, not Puppy, Tiddler, Pudgy, and not Pudgy, he's buff. He's woof. So hopefully that got you really powered up. Hopefully you got jacked off listening to that. God, okay. Hey, maybe I have been veganuary. I've been very rude. This has been a very rude one, so I'm sorry about that. Another part of you is your mind. Now, I'm not someone who... Look, I don't think I've had depression, you know. I'd say there's elements. I'm clinically lazy. I'm a very lazy guy, you know, and I think habitually I loved just not doing anything. You know, growing up, I didn't eat very well. I didn't exercise, you know, and I always just took comfort in doing nothing. Everything was like, I just need to get life out of the way so I can go back to doing nothing. So I can go back to, you know, and there's elements of that. I mean, really, any kind of spare time I have, I like to just do nothing, you know. So I don't know if that's necessarily depression, but, you know, I think being unmotivated is never really good. I think having a motivation in some degree is beneficial. And I think at my worst of being clinically lazy, I wouldn't call it depression, was when, you know, my diet was the reduced section at Tesco, and my job was in a call center where you could literally you didn't even have to show up. You didn't even have to call in sick. You could just not show up because there was so many people there to do the work. And I remember I'd have these, I had a bit of weed, right? Might be at home, right? I haven't had a bit of weed after calling in sick for work, after eating a 16-inch pizza that cost £2, having a glass of wine that cost, you used to be able to buy bottles of wine for £3, right? And I remember my pal Jordan opened up his bottle of wine, screw top bottle of red, and the cork just went boom, and it was fizzy. So, however, God, they made it that cheap. So this was at a kind of at my most laziest, and I used to constantly have. I smoke a bit of weed, and I get all paro in my head, and I would have these genuine daydreams, these fantasies in my head, where my door would get kicked open, and it would be either like The Rock or Triple H, and they'd just be like, "Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing here? What are you doing calling in sick, having a wank? You think I got to be champ for having a wank when I was supposed to be in work? What's the matter with you smoking a ganj? Smoking ganj and drinking bottle of wine? What's the matter with you?" And I would just start crying, you know, in the fantasy. But I would also kind of like think to myself and kind of like whimper lightly, you know. Do you ever have that, like, remember that in school where you're trying to keep up appearances? Maybe you've fallen and you're kind of a bit too old to cry, and then someone says, "How are you? Are you okay?" And you're like, you know, it's like as soon as someone asks you, "Are you okay?" That's not a good place to live. That's not a good place to be, where literally it's just, you're just about holding on. You know, I probably was depressed. I probably was really depressed. You know, when you're living in a state of like, so if someone genuinely asks me, like puts a hand on my back and says, "Are you okay?" I will start crying. That is depression. Sorry, you know, I was depressed. And I don't know. I don't really have any advice for getting out of depression. You know, There's levels of it that can be more severe than others. I think mine was quite light. I was still around a lovely community of friends and very supportive people. But I would say one thing, which is no one knows what's going on in anyone else's head, and everyone thinks that the person beside them, who they are actually trying to be like, has it all figured out, and no one has it figured out. And nothing, the only way to kind of prioritize your happiness is to kind of decide to take very small incremental steps to prioritize your happiness. It doesn't really come no thing you can't get it on ASOS, unfortunately. If you could, for me, it would be a fur coat from Mad Cheap that looked real. It would be red leather pants, and me having a real buff bod underneath that, walking around big fur coat. And that's if I could buy that on ASOS. That's what I assume happiness would look like for me. But it's about taking one thing as well. Stop putting pressure on yourself. Just drop that pressure, right? And don't be living with the fear. Don't be living, if you went out and you had some pints, if you genuinely think outside of everything that you maybe need to cut down, or you find yourself regularly waking up with the fear and you're like, this is a quality of life I don't want. I don't want to be spending my Sundays trying to watch away or eat away the fear, if that's happening a lot. Maybe plan to do something on the Sunday that means that you can't get that way on the Saturday. Do you know what I mean? But it's really all about just kind of making incremental steps, very small 1% steps in getting yourself happier. But the main thing is, man, girl, NB, don't put so much pressure on yourself, because no one else putting that pressure on you. And as that improv teacher said to me, that weird French fucking weirdo, he said, you wouldn't treat a dog like that. So why would you treat yourself like this? Here's a good thing. I'm into Zig Ziglar, right? Hey, funny name. This guy's from Yazoo City, Mississippi, or whatever he's from. And I used to listen to him a lot when I worked in sales, because he's kind of a sales guru. But like a nice guy, not like a fucking cunty Jordan Belfort. I used to work in a sales organization, and one of the incentives was to go see The Thief. The Wolf of Wall Street. A thief who still hasn't paid his money back. This is one of our sales incentives, was to go see Jordan Belfort. And I didn't go. I had no interest in going, but apparently my team went, and they said he spent the whole time just talking about how he used to sell more ice cream than anyone else and then hold for applause. But anyway, Zig Ziglar gives this example. He says, would you feed cheeseburgers to a $100,000 prize-winning horse? If you had a $100,000 prize-winning horse, would you feed it cheeseburgers? Would you keep it up all night, browsing the internet? Would you not wash it regularly? Would you have it stable in a state, a big mess? Would you do it for if you had a dog? If you got a dog from the pound, that was 50 quid. If you found a cat and just to pay for it to be fleed and vaccinated or whatever was 5 quid, you wouldn't treat any of the animals like that. So why are you treating yourself like that, huh? If you wouldn't treat a $100,000 horse, $50 dog, and a $5 cat like that, what about a priceless body? Why are you treating yourself like that? You wouldn't treat a dog like this. Anyway, that's this little tidbit. Anyway, sure. Part of just the whole thing. Look, if I can reach you out in any way here, if I can give you a reach around here, stop putting so much pressure on yourself. Okay? Just lose that now. You feel like you need to be somewhere and you're not there right now. Don't be putting so much pressure on yourself. No one else is. They might sound like they do out of obligation. Parents might sound like they are out of obligation because they love you, or partners. But as soon as the stakes get low, look, I'm talking seriously here, but I'll tell you this, right? This state when I was in a bit of a state of depression, right? One thing that got me out of it was my wife, girlfriend at the time, telling me exactly what I'm saying here. Tony, I've never met anyone who puts so much pressure on themselves. It's, you don't have to change anything. Just stop putting pressure on yourself like you need to be somewhere when you don't need to be there, you know. And I'd started putting videos on Instagram, right? And if there was a high stake and someone was like, "Hey, Tony's going to show his video at something," I'd be like, "No, I'm not going. I can't do that. I can't show it. I can't be a big thing." But when it was Instagram and people could just swipe it away in a matter of seconds, like a tweet, it was only ever going to be in someone's feed for a matter of seconds. And that was the thing. The max thing was 10 seconds or whatever it was then. So it's like, I can do something that's 10 seconds. It's going to pretty much disappear. Like Snapchat, all this stuff, it just disappears. So it lowers the stakes and lowers the pressure on it being any good. And that was a key thing in getting me started making anything, was just lowering the stakes, putting them on the bottom, going into the butcher's and saying, "Hey, brother, can you put those ribeye down at the bottom shelf? Because I need you to lower the stakes." So if there's something now, and sometimes you can be paralytic. I don't know if that's the term you use for when you're paralyzed, but you can sometimes be paralyzed by options and paralyzed with expectations you think other people have on you, when really it feels more from an obligation that they feel like you need to, you know, that as a parent or whatever, they might not be doing their job if they're not necessarily hounding you for something. Just drop the pressure. You don't have to be anyone else but the beautiful you that you are. Okay? I love you. Okay? Anyway, I'm going to close this out with a bit of guided... will I do the goal setting thing? No, I won't. I'll maybe... Do you know what? We'll do it next week. We can talk about it next week. Tips for goal setting, right? I know you're probably thinking, "Oh, do you know, I've already brought it up now." No, I'm not going to do it now. I'm not going to do it now because I don't want to get into it. It'll be another kind of 20-minute bit. Because then I can also tell you, not today because it's still New Year's Eve. We can talk more about New Year, New You in the new year, and we can talk about maybe setting yourself some goals. Right? Doesn't need to be on New Year's Day or whatever. Like whatever. I'm fucking chatting away. I'll talk about the goal setting in another episode. But what I want to do for you, because one of my goals is to practice a little bit more mindfulness, to be present, to calm my mind and my emotions. And I've realized the odd time that I've done mindfulness or meditation, and I haven't done it enough. I'm a real novice at it, but even the small amount that I have, the one thing I can kind of take away from it is, I'm saying this like it's going to be real. I'm going to do a fucking fuck around guided mindfulness meditation, but I do recommend people get into it. Aside from the thing that I'm about to do here, the thing that I've taken away from mindfulness meditation is that I can at least acknowledge when my mind is busy. I might not necessarily always notice the emotions that I'm feeling, but I am getting better at it. But something that's definite that I've noticed is when I can see that there's a lot going on in my head, and at least knowing that, I can even take a bit of a step out of that. You know, I'm not in it. If you can at least see how busy your mind is, you're not always actually in it and being reactive. So listen, here, you've already, okay, get this, right? You've already had the fucking powerful, you've had David the PT, fucking pump you into town. Well, now you're going to have Philippe, the guru. And he's going to be giving you some guided meditation in 3, 2, 1. Hi. Ha 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 ha. It's me, Philippe. I'm your best friend and guru on your trip into the mind. Can I just say, you look great. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just your new Christmas wear. You're wearing it with a lot more confidence. Did you get a beard trim, or did you cut your fringe? I don't know. You look great. Sorry if I'm being a bit pervy. I can lose my license for that. I can. It's happened. Can I say thank you so much for joining me on this trip into the mind and for prioritizing your own happiness. I want you first to get comfortable. sit upright so that your posture is attentive and don't get too sleepy. I want you to close your eyes and take a few deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. One more. In through the nose and out through the mouth. Now, you can let your breathing return to normal, okay? I'm not going to police your breathing. I'm not the Nazis for breathing. I shouldn't have brought up the Nazis. We're trying to have a good time. I want you to imagine yourself on a beach. It's warm enough so that you can just wear a t-shirt or a nice dress. Or maybe your top is off. Maybe it's off. And it's, warm enough that you don't need to wear a top. But it's cold enough that your nipples... Anyway, you're on... no, I'm not... Sorry, my boss is listening to me. You're having a good time. You're on the beach, okay? I want you to look at the sea, okay? And think about everything you learned in Leaving Cert Geography. The swash, the backwash, the swash, the backwash. I didn't do very well in geography. And isn't it funny the way backwash was a geographical term, but also the term for when your friend would drink a bottle of Coke, have it all in their mouth, and then let all of it fall back out of their mouth into the bottle. You can't drink after Dermo, he backwashes it, they'd say. Anyway, just like the sea and the sand castle, imagine your worries are a big sand castle. Putting up defenses, things you don't want to break past, something that happened this year when you called Tom accidentally and you're still living with that. They're all in that sand castle with the big walls. But here comes the wave. Crash! It's gone. It's fucking gone. All of your worries are gone. And a great calm comes over you. And you feel the warmth of the sun, but it's growing warmer. Not unpleasant, but warmer. You turn to face it, and standing on the beach is a man. You don't know why, but you're drawn to him. He ushers you over. You get closer to him and you see he has beautiful blue eyes and a lovely beard. He ushers you in and you hug him. It's Jesus. Jesus Christ is here giving you a hug. That's fucking mad. You feel his beard tittle your face. He spots your nipples and says, "Cold enough for you?" This is fine that he did that. He holds your hand and he says, "Come with me, I want to show you something." He brings you over to the shore and he points and he says, "Do you see that jellyfish? That jellyfish hasn't been as lucky as you. And although you may have had some ups and downs last year, you've got a new beautiful year ahead of you. And this jellyfish here doesn't have a life to live. So can we at least not be grateful for that?" And you say, "Jesus, that's a Johnny. They're all over here. This is Dollymount Strand, man. That's a Johnny washed up from someone having a pretty good time, actually. So while I appreciate your sentiment. Oh Lord, everyone's got. You seem like a nice guy. You seem like a nice guy, Jesus, but that's a fucking Johnny. Good thing this one didn't make it into the Bible. You'd be laughed at. You'd be laughed at. No, don't go. Jesus is upset. He runs away with his hands in his eyes. With his hands in his eyes. It's another miracle he performed. He put his hands right into his eyes, all the way up to the elbow, and he's fucking running into the sand dune. Goodbye, friend. Goodbye. Goodbye. A bit of fun there. Guys and girls and gender fluids, this has been the show. And you know what? I'm going to say this. What a fucking show. This has been gas. And all the meditation and the fitness thing. Come on. If you like the show, it's free content. Please do let people know about it. And you know what you could do? Make it extra special. Get me up to the top of the charts. Is if you went on iTunes and you gave me a review. And if you wrote a review, that would make a huge difference. Do you know what? While you're even listening to something, go on, do that now. And I'll keep talking to you here. Do you know what? I've had an incredible year. And it's down to people like yourself listening to this podcast. People like yourself coming to gigs, liking, sharing, just meeting me on the street, saying you like things. It's been an absolutely incredible year. So I want to thank every single person who has shared stuff and has recommended it to friends. I'm an incredibly lucky guy. Thank you people who came to Edinburgh, people who came to Edinburgh to see the show and helped me sell out an Edinburgh show. People in London who came to gigs. People in the Dublin Fringe who were able to. I was able to sell out a show on the Dublin Fringe. I mean, this is like week by week having to pinch myself that is not all a big dream. So thank you so much. I am so incredibly grateful. And if you would like to come and see me do some live bits, I got tour coming up. I will be bringing my tour, Tony Cantwell's Pure Graw Tour, around Ireland. And here's a couple of dates. In February 8th in the Town Hall Theatre in Galway, I'll be there. That could be sold out, but don't you worry, because on February 9th, I will also be there. On February 14th, Galentine's Gay. Why don't you come out for Valentine's? It'd be nice, and I'll make sure to make it a special Valentine's no matter what happens. So if you want to bring a date to that, please do. February 14th in Cypress Avenue in Cork. February 15th, as part of the Bray Comedy Festival, I will be there doing a whole show. So please come if you're in Bray, Wicklow, it's a local area. Have a good time. Had a good time in Bray last time. February 22nd, I'm on the other side of the Dart. I'm on the other side of the Dart in Howth, the Abbey Tavern in Howth. That one is getting close to sold out, so do grab your tickets now. In the venue in Ratouth, I think that's just what it's called, the venue in Ratouth, and I cannot wait, I love it. No, I've never been to Ratouth, but I'm looking to go to Ratouth. Please send me foodie tips for Ratouth. I'll be there March 14th. So please do come to that. March 21st in the Spirit Store in Dundalk. Please come. I love Dundalk. I love Dundalk people. I love fucking voice, man. I love voices. I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't mean to dwell on the accent, man, but it's just the best in the world. March 25th and 26th is the Sugar Club. Those are sold out. But there may be another Dublin City one potentially in the future, maybe closer. It wouldn't be until the new year. We'd be even looking at that. On March 27th in the Driocht in Blanche, I will be there. It'd be great if you want to come along. That'd be mad sound. And that's it. And as always, guys, you love you too, and we love you too.